Alright, well, good morning, folks. It is Nick Mulbauer here, and I'm out here this morning at a local haunt of mine that I frequent, and my ambitions this morning are potentially twofold. But the first thing I'm going to try to do this morning is catch some crappie, probably vertical jig them. Is 98% sure I'm going to be vertical jigging crappie this morning. That'll be my method to catch them. There's some sunken brush piles and trees I know about here, and I'm gonna go find them and see if they're in the deeper brush or in the shallower brush. So it's a cold one this morning. It's 32 degrees this morning. A lot of frost, thick frost this morning. Had to let my car defrost, and you know, it's just way colder than the last time I went crappie fishing, which doesn't really concern me. It kind of excites me because I like the change. I like the real seasonal changes we have going on in the last week or so. It changes fish behavior, it changes my behavior. It's just a change, and I like change every now and again. So we're gonna go out and find crappie. That's how we're gonna start the day. And if I get a stringer, I'm gonna try to get a stringer today. I'm gonna try to keep some if I'm fortunate enough to find a few. If I find a stringer, if I have a little bit of time after that, I might try to go find some bass. That's a stretch, but we're gonna try it. Maybe we'll see. So we're gonna get out there. This morning I am throwing a I don't know if you can see that well, but there we have a I'm actually fishing an 1/8 ounce jig head today. I wanted to try an 1/8 to get it down there quick. I'm just curious to see if they'll bite it. It's dark, you know. I don't think they can see well right now, too awfully well. So I got my black and chartreuse Bobby Garland and a chartreuse jig head, 1/8 ounce, to get it down there. That's the biggest, that's the heaviest jig head I've ever fished. So just for the sake of getting it down there quicker, we'll see if it works. If not, I'll switch to some of my other stuff, either my ice tungsten jigs with the smaller profile, or just a standard 1/16 ounce jig head to get it down there. But I'll shut up and we'll get out there and see if there's any fish biting. So stay tuned. See if we can find a few. Well, folks, the crappie bite is telling me one thing this morning, and it is smaller jig head, tungsten jig head. They're biting extremely light this morning, but I got something for that in my arsenal. I got something for them. Let's see if this changes the bite. Here we go. 1 1/4 inch Bobby Garland, lights out, and we're gonna put on a tiny little 1/32 tungsten ice jig, and that will get them in. Based on the bite this morning, they're barely hitting it, so we're gonna change it up. All right, folks, there you have it. That is a 1 1/4 inch Bobby Garland with a tungsten 1/32 ice jig, tied on there for super finesse. Just by the way these fish have been behaving, I think that might be the trick. We'll get out there and see what happens. They might just be small fish too, so let's get back out there. That was complicated with my numb fingers. That's tough. Not looking forward to that one come hard water. Tying numb finger jigs. Ugh. Don't miss that. Oh, look at that. And that's a keeper. Look at that, folks. 1/32 ice jig, and we get ourselves a slab that's big enough to keep. Pop him off. First fish with the lighter jig, smaller jig. He's not a massive, perfect eater size, but the way it's been, if I can get something close, I'll take it. We don't have slots, so any crappie you can keep. So there we go. White crappie, skinny. Probably a 9-incher though, I'd say. You can still get a bit of meat off of them though. Might need to catch a dozen though if they're that size. I'd like to get 8 at least. If I don't catch 8, I will send them back. There's one. They're smacking it right now. Doing that early hour smacking. I love that. Floppy feller. I might keep this guy too. We can swap some out if we need to. These are little fish, but they're still delicious. Still delicious fish. Maybe we'll put him back. We'll see how he compares. Send him back. They're hitting good enough right now to where I think I should still be able to get a few and be able to throw a few smaller ones back. Nothing like freezing your fingers off and crappie fishing. Whoa, there went something, caught my lure right there. See, they're shallow. They're hitting it very shallow. See, look at that. These fish are getting it as I drift it, like 6 inches down. Maybe we'll try throwing it and see what happens. Casting out. Oh, look at that. That was awesome. Boy, that's a keeper. We'll keep him. He's kind of dense, so first cast, throwing it out and drifting it. Oh, look at that. They're coming up for it. It's crazy. That's insane. That's what fall does. Changes behavior. I have fish coming up and dinking it 6 inches. I can see my jig and I can see those fish coming up and hitting it. It's crazy. That's incredible. If they're doing that this morning, we should have ourselves a stringer. That is some active fish. Love to get into some 10 or 11 inch fish. That would just be the best. 10, 11 is like my favorite size for keeping. I'll take 9s. Those are probably 9-inch fish. Skinny, slender 9-inch fish. But I like keeping the 10, 11 inchers. 10 to 12 is my favorite. I'll just cast over here again and see what happens. I'm like only letting it fall for 2 seconds. 1, 2, reel. Real slow. And there's one. They are right below the surface, folks. We'll throw this little feller back though. Look at there, guys. We found a pattern. That didn't take too long. Just tossing it out there, let it fall 2 seconds. That seems to be almost more effective than vertical jigging. 1, 2. Slow reel. There went one, picked it up there. 1, 2. One, 2, 3. Slow cranking. Slowly. There he goes. There's enough action in your hand to where you don't need to jig it when you're just reeling. You have a natural cadence to your hand. You can't keep it still. And they'll hit it just off the little bit. And this tail has a little bit of weight on the end of it, and it just gives it even more action. I'll show you if I can pop this hook out of this fish. Stuck himself pretty good. These VMC hooks are amazing, but see that? Look how much action's on that. Just barely wiggling it. Tons of action. You don't need to jig it. Not when you're moving. There we go, another fish there. I'll throw them on, I guess. These are nothing impressive, but you catch enough of them, you have yourself a fry. And there's a larger population of that year class, so I don't have any guilt taking them either, that size. They're definitely getting into their spring habits. It's cooling down enough to where their habits are more like spring. They're not dug deep, deep, deep. They're being pretty active right now on the surface. They don't do that during the summer months. At least not where I fish. They are not active in the summer like that. That's some springtime stuff. Got 4 there. Got 4. Sneak back up on him here. Toss it back out. Let her fall a little bit. I can't let it fall too long either because there is a brush pile out there and I don't want to get hung up, because these jig heads are about $3 a piece. They're expensive, so I don't like losing them. They're too expensive. It's about every cast, folks. They're not big, but maybe someday they will be. Just goes to show there's a decent population in here too. There went one. Came up and smacked it. Every now and then I give it a little twitch, just about one every time, or every other time, just for fun. Maybe get that reaction. And there it is. See, there's that hang up. There's that tree I'm talking about. And we have to pull this jig out because it is way too expensive to lose. That is for sure. Cannot lose these jigs. They cost way too much money. I don't know why, but they're expensive. No, I broke it off. I wasn't even trying. That's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. I don't even know how that broke off. You know what I got though? I have some, if the fish are biting like this, I have some much cheaper jig heads that are a 48th ounce. 1/48. I'll show you these things. And they fit those 1 1/4s perfectly. Check these out. I think I got one here. Yep. That's a 1/48 ounce jig head. Absolutely tiny. Not good for vertical jigging, but when they're hitting like this, that'll be perfect. That'll work perfectly for me. And it won't hurt as much losing it. It won't hurt my feelings so much. We'll get it down there. We'll tie it on. Let's see what we can do here. These fish are plenty shallow and active enough to be able to use this type of pattern. It'll sink a lot slower too, so I'll have to maybe count a little longer. Light jig head, not tungsten. This is smaller than a 1/32, and it's not tungsten, it's lead. So it's going to sink a lot slower. But should catch them, I would think. I'm confident in it. Confidence is half of it. Try to get it on there with my numb fingers. At least it'll just progressively get warmer during the day. That'll be nice. Okay, let's try not to lose those. It's way too hard putting these on when it's freezing cold. Way too hard. Let's go find these fish again. They're about in 8 feet of water suspended over a brush pile and along it and around it. They're just hanging out. They're definitely active right now. We'll let that fall a little slower. There he goes. He was on there. He nipped it. Ooh, that one came up and smacked it. That was awesome. I saw that. That was crazy. He's a nice eating size one. Still not massive crappie, but I like these thin ones, like I said. I don't know how big that is, but I will keep him. I will eat him up. We'll get our stringer real nice and quick this morning. It'll be great. Maybe we'll have a dinger or two come along yet. We'll see. Be a little extra Easter egg, but I'm not out for giants today. I'll take them, obviously, but it doesn't hurt my feelings if I don't get any really big fish today. I just want quantity. That was so awesome how he hit that, though. Just right last second, never stop. They might still hit it right up to your boat. They're just on a mission chasing that bait down. I think what happens is, I think most people would agree with me, before winter they get that cool down and that signals winter's coming, and they have to put on some weight before they have to go into the deep freeze. That's the general philosophy folks have towards a lot of fish in the fall. They'll eat a lot before and after winter. Put on that belly. It's nice to not have to vertical jig these fish because just takes a lot less concentration. I love that. Don't have to be so precise. Line went slack there. That's so fun. Every cast, guys. Every cast these fish are hitting. He's going back. 1 1/4. Sized it down. They are slamming that 1 1/4. It's amazing. Slamming the 1 1/4 inch. There he went. There's a better fish, guys. Not better, but you know, edible. There's an edible size. That's a better size if they're edible. We'll take him. This is every cast, folks. White crappie, every cast this morning. 32 degrees. That's the air temperature. The water temperature is quite warmer. It's probably in the mid 50s, I would say. Mid 50s water temp. And that's a temp that'll have them roaming. They're pretty comfortable, I'd say, in those temperatures, 60s, 50s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's number 6 going on the stringer. Put him on. And we'll just keep floating that jig over top of these bad boys. Crappie bite's so darn good today, I might not be able to bass fish. I prefer catching crappie over bass anyways, but it definitely makes it harder when you get a fish and a little different when they're active like this. It's a lot more fun than vertical jigging them. Change of pace. I love vertical jigging them. I seem to catch my largest fish vertical jigging. Some of my biggest crappie, all my biggest crappie have come from vertical jigging trees. But this is just a lot of fun too. A lot of fun. There we go. There's a vertical jigging one, guys. That's a bigger fish. We'll take him. That can be one of our larger ones of the day. Get him off. That's what I prefer to catch, guys. He's so slick and my hands are so cold I can't get him. There's a little better fish, folks, right there. Nice white crappie. That's the size I like to eat. That's my favorite size. And I vertical jigged him. Maybe these bigger fish are gonna move in here. We'll see what happens. Those might be some larger fish down there. There's one. That's a nice fish. Look at this one, folks. Moved. Oop. Came up and swiped it. That's a nice one. Right there. Now we'll keep that one. I've just been moving around from brush pile to brush pile in search of crappie. First dropped down on a new school of them, and it's a nice fish. It's good to have a library of spots for sure. We'll put him on the stringer as well. Try to be quiet. I'm right over these crappie and they're not holding too much structure. There's not a lot of structure here, so try to be kind of mellow. So that's a nice crappie. Nice addition. We'll get him on the stringer right there. That's probably 11. 10, 11, 12, 10 to 12. That's a nice crappie right there. That's 2 decent ones on the stringer this morning. Vertical jigging. It's been fun to have a variety of strategies though today. I was able to cast out and catch a few doing that too. Just letting it fall a little bit in the water column and then reeling it back to me real slow. So yeah, we've been catching them with a variety of methods, and I think that just comes with the territory of it being fall and fish changing their attitude. But one thing's constant, you can always count on them crappie. I feel like any time of year being on wood, sunken wood structure, you will find the crappie. Some structures better than others. I mean, some wood cover's better than other wood cover, but that's where you got to put the work in and find exactly where they like to hold, you know, and that can change day to day too. That's what makes fishing fun. That's what makes your same body of water never boring too, you know. You can always count on a new day having new possibilities. It's a lot of fun. Now I'm just drifting around and I'm looking for any sign of something breaking that signal. If I see something stack up, I'll get my lure down there and I'll see what's going on. I might have spooked that school that fish came out of, but at least I got one out of it. So I'm not marking it anymore. That was probably a nice school of fish. They are very scattered today though, and they are moving a lot. They are not sluggish at all. They are moving around, living their lives, enjoying that fall water. There we go. There's a stack, see that? That's what I'm looking for. Stacks of signals. It's either wood or fish. It's one of two things. So that's what we look for. That's what I'm always doing. That's what I'm constantly looking for. There it is. Last one of the day, guys, and it inhaled it. Golly, hooked him in the eye. Well, folks, it's been a crazy, phenomenal day of fishing. I've caught so many crappie, I don't even know what to think. I got 11 in my car, waiting to get clean. So I set out to get a stringer, and I did just that. White crappie, black crappie, a lot of fun. A lot of methods today, a lot of jig head changes for sizes, a lot of swim bait sizes. 1 1/4 did it today. That was the ticket again. 1 1/4 inch Bobby Garland minnow on a 32nd. That worked really well. That's a good combination. That was lethal today. Kind of had a little bit of both of the best worlds there for me, but anyways, a lot of fun, beautiful fall day. Get outside, you know. It's fun being outside. It's a beautiful day. We're so fortunate to be able to enjoy things like this. So get outside, go fishing. Thanks for joining us. We always appreciate y'all coming along. So maybe next time I won't go for crappie. It's addicting. Have a good one, guys. There's a decent one. Can't bug it. Jesus. Oh my God. There's another one. There we go. Can't keep up with them now. Oh my God. Freaking hey. They are just freaking all over it. Let's just see how many we can probably get up in here. There's another one. Oh my gosh. 4. This is how it can go, folks. This is how it can go. That's 4. Can't even keep up. Just throw that jig out. I'm not even trying.